If you work in water treatment, have you ever wondered why, depending on the market or the area, some people manage to sell water purifiers to end customers for 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, even up to 8,000 euros, even though the end result the customer wants is the same? Yes, because they're looking for the same goal, the same need, the same final destination. And yet, the prices for the exact same water purifiers are completely different. Now, if you're an entrepreneur in water treatment, or if you work in the field, this probably frustrates you, because you face customers who tell you that a competitor, maybe with your same purifier, costs less. And that's where the famous price war begins. A war that you simply cannot win in the long run. So why do you face customers who say you're expensive when you know the product you're offering is the best? And not only is the product better, but the service behind that product is better too. And above all, why do you lose deals to someone selling something very similar, but for less? Now, the answer isn't actually in the price, but in the fact that you're selling, quote unquote, the wrong product, the wrong thing. Now, let me set a scene that you probably know very well. Suppose your market is HoReCa, so you work with restaurants and hotels. You or your salesperson go to the restaurateur, you talk about the machine and the system, the features, the liters per hour, the performance. This person nods. They're happy, they seem to understand. Then they tell you they need to hear from others, talk to others. And in the end, they choose the cheapest one. They choose the lowest quote. After a few months, this person runs into a problem. For example, the water isn't cold enough, or the carbonation isn't consistent, or the technical service this restaurateur is receiving is slow, and so they start to complain. It's at that moment they realize they save money. Yes, but in the wrong place. They saved on the wrong thing. Now stop for a second, because there's a key point here. That unhappy restaurateur wasn't actually looking for a water dispenser. They didn't care about the machine itself. This restaurateur wanted something much simpler. They wanted to serve good water right away without problems and without wasting time. So the same concept applies to families, to private individuals. Individuals and families don't want a system per se. They just want to turn on the tap or whatever and have good, safe water, always the same, okay? Worry-free. And the same goes for an office. They don't want the technology itself. They want to avoid employee complaints. They want their staff to feel good. They want to eliminate the management and hassle of water jugs and so on. And the same applies to a hotel. Hotels too, they aren't looking for the system itself. They want to offer a consistent experience, a clean, premium experience without any hitches. Now, do you see what's happening? When you go to customers, you and your sales team go to customers and only talk about the product, you're actually disconnected from what the customer wants, because the customer doesn't just buy the machine. They buy what the machine saves them from, what the purifier avoids for them, and or what makes them money. And if they don't see this scene extremely clearly in their mind, then they place you in the same category as everyone else. And when you're in the same category, the only way to choose is obviously based on price. And here's where the true value equation comes into play, because value isn't in the result, because the result is always the same, it's always water, okay? So what does value mean to your customer? Value is how that result is achieved and experienced every single day, okay? It's no longer about clean water, pure water, or cold water, because that's already a given, okay? That's a promise that's already been overused. So there are actually 4 things that determine value from your customer's perspective, how they evaluate whether a product, a water purifier, is valuable or not. The first is obviously the result that this product brings them. The perceived result, which isn't the water, but the experience, how good it is, how sparkling, how cold, how pleasant it is to drink, how much sparkling water flows continuously, and so on and so forth. And why is that? Because for a restaurant owner, for example, it makes them look good, because a restaurant owner doesn't sell water. The restaurant owner sells an experience at the table. Then the second lever is obviously trust. The end customer wants to be sure it always works, so your customers want to have the peace of mind that the water purifier will always work, okay? They don't want to call for service, they don't want to have doubts about how to set it up, which function to use, they don't want any kind of surprises, let's say. Many of your customers have probably already had experiences with products that seemed good at first, purifiers that seemed good at first, but then over time they started to cause small ongoing problems. And it's precisely those small problems that destroy trust in the market category, even if you're better. So you have to understand this, you have to get out of this mindset, okay? You have to understand that when one of your customers gets burned by one of your competitors, they're not just upset with that competitor, they're upset with the entire product category. So you have to manage to break out of that category. Otherwise, you'll be labeled as part of the category that burns people, okay? Then the third lever through which your customer perceives value is speed. Not just how quickly you install the systems, but how quickly you respond to any technical support requests or questions, okay? So the speed aspect is always crucial. The less the customer has to wait throughout their entire relationship with you, the better. The fourth lever is obviously effort. This is the most important one, because how much attention does the system require from your customer? How much effort do they have to put into managing it, using it, learning how to use it, or teaching their staff, the waiters or the floor managers, how to use it? The end customer doesn't want to manage anything, they just want to use it. They want to have their system and start using it, period, okay? They shouldn't have to work to use it, that's no good. They want something that works without having to think about it. And when they find something like that, they never change it. Now you understand what you have to do as an entrepreneur or as a professional in water treatment, in water purification. You don't have to help. You don't have to arrive on the clay on the market to your end customers and push the system itself too much, the physical system itself. Instead, you must be able to help them see elsewhere, beyond, okay? The experience, the safety, the immediacy, the simplicity of everything concerning the system itself and everything around it. Because this is what the end customer really buys, okay? And when you manage to communicate this thing here, automatically your customer will compare you less on price, they will compare you less on the cheapest, because they are no longer buying the product, but they are buying a set of value elements, those 4 precise value elements we talked about, which are disconnected from the price, okay? And so the truth is simple. The more you make the result for your customer easy, immediate, and problem-free, the more the price stops being a main factor, okay? So you must have clearly in mind what the customer is looking for, and you must try to give it to them quickly, without problems, without effort on their part, and convey the certainty that with you, they are making the right choice, okay? At that point, you manage to get out, at least from what is the categorization of quotes. You manage to differentiate yourself among other quotes from your competitors, because you are selling what your customer is actually looking for, and not just the system or the classic assistant service. Now, I hope this video was useful to you. It gave you ideas, so if you want more like it on various topics, always regarding water purifiers, I invite you to click below to subscribe to the Onnwater YouTube channel, and also click on the bell button so you receive notifications every time a new video comes out. And who knows, sometimes seeing the videos before your competitors can bring you strategies that you can manage to apply before them and have more of an advantage. So I recommend you subscribe to always be the first to be updated.